welcome to my stream, Ethical Hacking Guest and Wholesomeness podcast here. And I wanted to start with a disclaimer that we are not doing anything suspicious here, just sharing knowledge, talking with cybersecurity professionals to inspire other people, help them to find their path. So, yeah, don't use it against us. I guess that's the disclaimer. Who I am, I'm a penetration tester and yeah, certified as cover access specialist, all of those things. And why am I here? To share actually I was scared of public speaking, so I'm mostly here to not be scared anymore and practice that and be better at uh, acting under pressure and yeah, behaving in crisis situations. Because most of all, I'm here to highlight people that are important to me and to the industry and introduce them. And I'm having a guest here. It's Gemma. And good morning, Gemma. Just wanted to check if your sound works. Can you say something?
Hi, am I audible? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
yeah, it works. Okay.
Okay, that's
So can
perfect.
you introduce yourself to everyone? I think you'll do it the best.
Okay, yes. First of all, thank you, Dorota, for inviting me and having me here with you. Um, it's been I've been fan of you for a long time. I've been following you and your podcasts. I've been, learning from the people that you invite. So I'm really happy to be here and appreciate also the presence of your community. This is really nice to share. I missed it. So yeah, my name is Gema Landaverde. I'm half Salvadorian, half Mexican. I was born in Mexico City. I was raised in El Salvador. I am not living in any of those countries anymore, but I am Latina. So I also work as a global director for offensive security for a global company, and it's a global analytics company. And also, I am managing and overseeing red team, threat intelligence, threat hunting. I've been in cybersecurity since I was probably in my teens, around when I started when I was 17. So yes, this has been quite a journey, but I am the happiest woman on earth because I'm able to do what I love to do. So thank you so much.
Yeah, actually, I think that's a great introduction, and I feel like the same that I finally found my place in the world. So I'm really happy to be here, and this is great. Although the imposter syndrome is still there because kicking my ass sometimes, but I think we all have those feelings. I wanted to ask, what makes you smile? What brings you joy? Can you something outside of cyber, like what, yeah, sparks joy for you?
Well, what brings me joy is my family, especially my daughter. I have a 12 years old daughter, and everything that I am discovering new to the world, it's through her eyes. So her and my family, and you probably will see coming in and out my dogs. So I have two dogs, and I have a lot of fun with them. And another thing that makes me really happy is water. So I'm a diver, a scuba diver. So I swim and I try to go to the beach and to the lake. So I think that being near of water, it's actually that brings me joy and keeps me in peace.
I think that's it makes me think because I'm also I love water and it brings me joy, and I haven't been in water lately in this year at all. So that makes me think now I moved to a different city and I'm trying to figure out how to be happy because I'm not in fight and flight anymore. So I'm trying to wrap my head around, I'm in a good place. This is a beautiful home. Everything is fine. Nothing is, no bad is happening. So how do I make myself happy now? No emergencies anymore. So yeah, but that was like a good reminder that actually I love water and maybe I should go to a pool or yeah, I wanted to. learn windsurfing this year. So I don't know, we'll see. But thank you for the reminder, actually, and sharing what you love. Like maybe realize, oh, actually, I like that too. No, so
Oh, so we're in the same situation because I
yeah,
also just moved and I'm in that relaxed moment where I am like, okay, I am getting out of chaos. I love this house. I love this city. I love how I am right now. So let's see what's the next step and find water around me. Yes.
yeah. Yeah, that's like actually a good feeling not to have to unpack any more boxes, you know. So that's like yeah, yeah. That's good. So okay, can you introduce like yourself? Already you did that a bit, but what is your specialty in cybersecurity, and how can others gain expertise in your specialty? How can other be in the place that you work, like you know, like
Well, cybersecurity and technology in general have been big part of my passion. So I definitely didn't come right into this job when I was in my early years. I had to move through different roles. I had to work in other areas that did not have to do much with technology sometimes. But my first job was actually with my dad because, my dad, he was the one who introduced digital telecommunications into El Salvador. He used to work for Antel back in the days. And so he had a lot of material at home where I was able to read and investigate and start expressing my interest in technology since very young age. But when he retired, he opened a business on cell phones, and my first
oh,
job was actually programming cell phones for people, and it was very fun. I was 17 back in the day. But then I moved to another different role, which was in my university as a bookkeeper. So it has nothing to do with technology, but I was happy because I was in the same place of where I was taking my classes. And then my dad, for his job, he'd bring for the first time a computer home, and it was a laptop. And I was definitely, jumping of happiness because I, in my school, in my previous school, I was just playing around with DOS and all of that, but not like having a computer in your house where you can do basically everything. And yes, so I had to go through all of the, modem connection, lost and reconnect and all of that. So it was really fun. My family also, for example, my brothers, they were also studying electronics and they were in college already. So we were discussing things around that. Then in my dad's business, I was able to meet more people that were doing, installing antennas and installing multiple devices around people's houses. Or I was able to understand a bit on how telecommunications work. Actually, my first uh, career choice was electric engineering, and I started studying that for a couple of years. Then I moved to computer science. So it's been very dynamic. I think I've one of the rich experience that I have. It's because I've been in so many places and I've learned so many things. Not only also have ADHD, so when I hyper focus on something, I try to learn as much as I can. Now, how responding on the second half of your question, how someone can be where I am is like, first of all, you need to understand what do you want to do. It's because of your passion, it's because it's something that you really dream to do, and then pursue that. Of course, it's not going to be easy. I have the dream of moving out from where I was living for many years, and until now I am making that a reality. So it doesn't happen overnight. So you have to be patient and you have to trust your times. And the most important thing, be compassionate with yourself and with your process, because if you are going to compare with someone else that, oh my god, this kid is 14 and he already knows how to own a network, and I am this and this age and I don't even know what a network is, then you're going to hurt yourself, and then it's going to kill the purpose of your journey. Every journey is, different. So I think that having that in mind, then you're going to have the right state of mind to start focusing only on learning and developing new skills for getting where you want to be.
Yeah, that's very valuable, like a reminder, because yeah, sometimes we compare ourselves. We want to be at the place where other people are at the moment, but you cannot rush things and you cannot skip anything in between. So yeah, and if you like feel like you want to compare yourself with other people, then you start like feeling frustrated, and then you cannot really focus on learning. So that's also like like not a great place to be. So thank you. But actually, to ask, what inspired you to pursue a career in offensive security? Because I know what was like the spark that made you follow. Because you said electrical engineering was something that you were considering, but why offensive?
Why offensive? It was because I didn't know that I was hacking when I was 17. I just knew that I was doing something that felt super interesting and super exciting to do. Then I discovered what the hacking community was. Then I was studying well, not studying, but I came across the hacking manifesto. Then I came across with the prank magazine and 260, 2600 and all of that. So then I started with forums. Since I was very young, I, disassemble all of my toys and put them together, electric toys. And I was like playing around with the parts and see what's inside. So I was always been very curious. So I was trying to, I knew since I was like 12 or 13 that I was going to be an engineer. I didn't know about what, but I knew I was going to be an engineer. So that was at least something I had clear. I started learning languages, and that allowed me to go directly to the forums where I could learn directly from uh, people posts on how to, you know, own a network, how to go into someone's computer remotely, how to make your download speed at the same time, what's a torrent, what's all of those things. And yeah, I was very interested in video games as well. So that's exactly the reason why I came to hacking. But then again, I paired my career with cybersecurity. So I was like in cybersecurity for my first job. I think the formal job actually was for Dell, and I was a resolution specialist there, and I really love to help people to escalate things and how to troubleshoot things and how to help them to fix this and that. And then over the time, I work, as defender, so blue team most of the time, at or no, managing systems, so like a sysadmin and all of that. So I was blue before coming to red, and being in the defensive side, I think it gives you such a variety of um, you have a 360 vision in there because you are fighting things that you thought that you knew, but you were not prepared for. So that was something that I said, okay, so how can I do the same, but acting like I am in the other side? So being offensive. And then I knew where to go because I already knew what the other team was going to defend. So the feeling of knowing that, oh, I found something, oh, I broke this, oh, I was able to bypass this, that feeling is it's such an adrenaline moment that it was like, yes, I want to keep doing this all the time. Again, it was not always like on a straight line. Sometimes I was working for a company that had nothing to do with technology, and the next day I was doing a business intelligence model for another company. Then I was doing a CPN migration for another company. So it was not straight line,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I just wanted to say that, yeah, it was not super obvious that I'm going to be where I am now. And if someone told me that I would be here like 10 years back, I would not believe that. Like, it was like, like, no way. No way. So that's like actually very like interesting to look like how your life changes, and you can change and pick a different path at any given moment, and so it's never too late. You're never too old to start again, and that's what I'm trying to, because I did start like from zero a few times in my life, so I'm really happy that yeah, I was kind of like very persistent with my pursuits. So I wanted to ask, can you share a defining moment in your career that shaped you as a leader? Because now you work as a director. So,
Yes, I think that my first leadership role was for Deloitte a couple of years ago, like 10, more than 10 years ago. And normally, and this has been a phenomenon in my career. Normally, when I arrive to a new role, I have to reshape or start a role. It's like nothing has been defined. There are people that they don't have, defined roles, or there is not a defined structure or processes or anything around it. And since it's a very new, and it's an emergent side of technology, cybersecurity, then the references for how you can be successful to do something are very limited. For example, when I started on my offensive security role, I did not have many references on how to put together a successful structure of a red team, or combining the whole cycle of what we have right now for intelligence, hunting, and red teaming. So references, I think, were one of my biggest challenges, if you will. And also, since I had to step into the organization and start a new role in a new department, then I had to deal with was already pending because the role did not exist, the position did not exist, but all the tasks were piling up for someone to do it. So um, there is where I started to, thinking on how to be more organized and everything that I was going to do. Because if I take everything at once, I'm going to go crazy. So I started to take things one by one and fix all of this. And then by failing, you become more secure. So of course I've made a lot of mistakes, and it's it's bad when I hear that someone is, scared of doing something new because they're going to fail. I'm living that with my daughter right now. But if you're going to fail, how you're going to learn? So I started then also to be more in tune the with the people that I was working with, and my direct reports and all of that. And one of the things that it's true, I mean, you see it in the memes, like having a millennial manager means that they are doing things different because they don't want to do the same things that they did to them. So I was definitely not going to do to my direct reports what I had to go through in the past. So I think that is where I understood, like, that I think that's the defining moment on how I knew what type of manager I wanted to be. I wanted to provide opportunities for people that probably were not given to me before, and I was going to do it in a way that I could also be an asset for the company, so they can keep us bringing the assets that we needed as well. So probably that.
Yeah, I love that, and I feel like I would like to work like no like in your team. So to, because yeah, that actually feels like you're a very empathetic leader, and you have good leadership skills there. So yeah, I really love that, and yeah, thank you for sharing. And it was also like a good reminder. I do something like resonated with me as well, what you just said, that I when I entered cybersecurity, I did everything myself. I learned things myself. No one was like really showing me the path. So I did my own research, and then I wanted to become like a senior that I didn't have when I was a junior. So kind of like what you wanted, like to be better for other people because you didn't have that for yourself. So that's like, yeah, I really like that. Okay, this next question is, what unique challenges have you faced as a woman in offensive security, and how did you overcome them?
Well, I will be very transparent on this one. I didn't know. I mean, I did face challenges for being a woman, but I was not aware that I was a woman uh in a group of men. Like, I was not conscious about it. I didn't know. So I was never resentful, like, oh, because I'm a girl, they are not allowing me to do this. So I that started later when I had more exposure into other people experiences and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, I had to be I have been the only woman in the room for many, many years. But I was not aware that I was the only woman, sorry, in that room until now that I recall things like that. For example, when I had to present the reports and the results um, of penetration testing, then I didn't realize that I was just exposing to just guys, so or the owners of a bank, and they were all men. So I think that right now I'm happy that everything is moving towards um, meritocracy rather than gender-based roles. So, and not just as a woman, but also for minorities and the communities. So I think that having the opportunity to understand, because I can tell you, for example, I'm a single mom, and I have had other challenges that probably that some successful person in my role has a family and has everything put together. But then I also have amazing friends that help me to build my village and are there for me. So I I think that for being a woman have not defined me, whether it's been easy or it's been difficult. Yes, I've experienced misogyny. Yes, I've experienced like the side look for but I didn't know that it was because I was a woman. So I think that ignorance was a bliss probably for me in that time. And but now again, of course, I try to, and let me be transparent with you in my team. I am really happy every time that a girl joins my team. I'm like excited because it's super cool. but it's not going to define the if it's going to be a decision for hiring someone or not. And I make sure that the team also interviews this person, because what we want is to have the cool vibe all the time. So because it's us, you know. So to me, meritocracy and how you are as a person and who you are as a person is more important. Now, if you ask me what other challenges besides being a girl in cyber, probably have been that, for example, I was raised in a very, very, very small town in El Salvador in wartime. When I had to I had to be born in Mexico because my mom could not go to a hospital due to, you know, the conflict. And those were very uncertain days. So I think that when I moved back to El Salvador when I was 6 months old, I had to be raised in such a violence culture, and violence have was present my whole, you know, youth and childhood. To me, I think that was um, more challenging. But yes, I did have to overcome a lot of things. We didn't have. I mean, we had everything that we needed at the house, but sometimes with 7, 8 years, I had to go very far and bring water to the house, for example. Or we didn't have electricity after 7 p.m. because, you know, government will cut electricity at 7 p.m. until the next day for because we cannot go outside. So those type of things I think were more challenging. But yes, I understand that my position is not everyone else. I understand that now I understand that there are other cultures that cannot speak easily on what they want to become, or you know, the freedom of choose what career path they want to have, and they are going to be actually um, how the like isolated because they are women. So I understand that now, and it's heartbroken. It's painful. That's what I love to speak with other girls and other communities and from different parts of the world, because you know, it's that's how you learn other people's realities as well. And I love your cat. What's his name
Yeah,
or her name?
Roger, he's like showing his butt there.
He's so cute.
Yeah, thank you for like sharing that, and I think you that maybe helped you to become like a woman that you are today, like a very strong person, you know. So I, I didn't grow up in such an environment myself, but like Poland in the 80s wasn't all like unicorns and rainbows as well. So I do can a bit relate to what you just said. And yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah,
Sure.
uh, yeah. And my next question is, and actually, to get back to the challenges as a woman, I didn't actually encounter a lot of them myself, but sometimes in the interviews, when there was like only men, I did feel like they are like kind of judging me, maybe. But so and the only thing that I kind of felt that it's off, it's like lack of respect because I'm a female. And that was like the only thing that I would love to have more like respect and like people not looking down on me. But other than that, I do feel like I didn't really like notice that anyone is judging me because I'm a female. I was just treated fairly and given you know, like a chance to show my skills and yeah, who I am as a person. And I always like love to learn, so I guess that maybe come out of on the interviews or something. Okay, so but my next question is like a completely different yeah, barrel in a way. So, what's the misconception about red teaming or penetration testing that you wish more people understood? Like, for example, I think like some people come into penetration testing thinking that they will just hack everything, be like Mr. Robot, and and they come to actually work as a penetration tester, and they are surprised because like half of the work is reporting and like writing beautiful reports and being able to translate technical into like economical kind of language. So what do you think? What is a misconception that you would like
Oh
to?
my God. I mean, I thought that I was going to study computer engineering because I was going to only deal with computers and not people, and here I am. So, it's part of the job to be writing the report. For that, I do have my tips. I am doing my report while I am doing my findings. I try to document everything at the very same time that I'm doing something. So, and beyond that, beyond the technical skills, beyond, because technical skills, let's be honest, if you have certain you've taken a couple of courses, you have already certifications and whatnot, and you face something or some system that you've never seen before, you Google it, you investigate, you have GitHub, you have a lot of places where you can read about it. So technical skills, I think, that are not a problem. What a problem could be is like if you're working for a company that is a consultancy or whatever, and you are doing your best pen test in the world, and you have your report, then you deliver, and then you start being questioned about why did you find this? This is not a high vulnerability. So you start with the pushback. So being able to deal with that, it's more important that, um, it's not more important, it's important as well than developing skills, because you can be an amazing pen test, but if you cannot advocate for what you just did, and you're going to find a lot of pushback in the way, then you're going to become frustrated, and you're going to become um, you know bitter about that, and that's not the case. So as long as you keep your poker face and you have your facts, and you have, like, I did this because ABC, I consider that if you, I mean, I'm presenting you this, if you want to take my recommendations, I'm happy to walk you through how I did it. The process on how things were done are in the report. Otherwise, you and your team are free to just put into action what action plan you want to do. So that's the most difficult thing about being an ethical hacker, that understand that your wins are probably not going to be perceived by other people's, like, wins. So you have to be at peace with that. So sometimes there is a time um, for comeback. There is a time to explain, hey, I don't have to, I mean, I don't want to push your company, it's your company, your decision, but at the end of the day, I cannot say this, I cannot change this vulnerability severity, because it's what is in this standard, and this is what the standard asks. So see, you have ways to go around on things. Now, for red team, it's different, because if pen testing has a timeline, a defined timeline, red team doesn't. And being in red team, that means that you have to understand that the quick wins are not going to happen. So you are going to be patient, and the organization needs to be patient in knowing that the red team is working on something, but they are not going to present results tomorrow. So being able to understand that, being able to understand that we need a separate, different environments that probably the organization is not used to have, or is not common, then there is another way to approach on that. So misconceptions around going to work for a red team or going to work for an ethical hacker, they think that, oh, everything is already done. They just need someone to come and do, you know, operations. But sometimes, and especially in this area, everything is in the building. Everything is building up because not everything is defined. So I think those are some misconceptions of both areas. And for example, one of the areas that I have recently knowledge about is threat hunting. And with my threat hunting team, they have been in progress on doing A, B, and C. But now that we are looking at the efforts and the results and the wins, then we can celebrate everything and show how amazing things they have been doing and what amazing things they have been doing and how cool they have put together all of this. But it's patience. So we come to the beginning when we said that we have to be patient on our times. And if you say like, yes, but the organization it's not going to wait forever. Okay, then you have another challenge. And for that, what you need is a strategy. And the strategy that you have to see is you have to do, sorry, it's to put things in perspective, set the right expectations, see things 360, take calculated risks. And those are more, leadership type of decisions that you have to take around things.
Okay, but okay, next question is what are the biggest threats you see in today's cyber landscape?
Well, I think that the most evolving threat has been for a while ransomware. And ransomware in multiple flavors and colors and all of that. But also phishing has also, my team is also the owner for phishing campaigns. So we try to do things as realistic as we see out there. QR codes, type of attacks, or internal communication, or all of that, placing decoys. That's what I think the technological depth that we have in the world. Well, let's not go for yesterday with Oracle's hacking. Like it was because it was a vulnerability since 2021 that was not patching one legacy system. So you want to find very super complicated type of vulnerabilities and all of that. But then you see that we have a tech debt so old across the world. That's something that has not been remediated, and it's sad because we are not able to catch up. We are in the AI era right now, and we're still having vulnerabilities from 10 years, 20 years ago. Like I think that's the biggest challenge for me. You can have defined processes, you can have defined uh, perimeter security and layer security and all of that. But if also you don't catch up with that tech dev in your organization, then it's not going to be very effective what we do in the other areas. But yes, I think that most of the data leaks that we see nowadays are because of ransomware impersonation as well. People trying to impersonate as employers and go into the organization, phishing. Um, so I mean, double authentication factor is not only for devices, it's also for access and authorization are two different things. So just because I have access to to a portal, that doesn't mean that I have to have authorization to do something ABC. So isolation on those things are still not happening. Over permissive roles in cloud environments as well. Old rotation, all key that have not been rotated in years for accessing. Probably a company hire a contractor or a vendor, and they leave the same access keys for them and not remove them, so they don't have a good user management controls. That means that this person still have access, and then the company probably doesn't know that they have a backdoor. So there are a lot of elaborate and complicated type of vulnerabilities out there, but those are the ones that you see in the day-to-day type of challenges that you have to deal with.
Yeah, that's a very good answer, and I do feel like with AI, like getting smarter and better at everything. So yeah, but okay. Next
Yes.
question is, can you share a red team engagement or ethical hacking story that surprised you, like the outcome, or surprised the
Mm.
company? Yeah.
Yes, I'm not going to talk about the current company that I am in, but in the past, for example, we were able to we were able to discover that there were some domains that the company, I mean, we were not aware that they existed. And because of the trusted relationship with the other domains, they were able to um, basically put what vulnerabilities were in this domain, and they were affecting the other domain because of the trusted relationship that we had. Even when in one region we didn't have many users, then we found out that still they were able to access some, again, legacy systems, and they were able to do things that were not in the alert part, like they were isolated, so they were not alerted in any of our telemetry. So it was very interesting to discover that. And actually, we did that um, report or that engagement because we had actually a ransomware hit some weeks before that engagement. So when this ransomware hit, it hinted that um, that domain, but we didn't know how profound the situation was until we did all of the engagement. And when we handled the ransomware, uh, the company didn't know all of the trusted relationships that also they had in the network and the over permissive network rules that they had, and how they were not, you know, auditing any of those rules periodically. So they couldn't see anything besides what was being alerted. So we were able to, discover multiple type of um, users with high privileges, even with domain admin
Whoa.
type of privileges, and they were doing things outside of the perimeter, so that's why it was never alerted. Um, yeah, so it was very eye-opening, and it also allowed me to be more careful in the future when someone come to me and say, hey, we want to put a new domain. So first thing I do is review the trusted relationship and how the users are going to be handled on that domain as well. Because another thing is that right now, it's very difficult that some system goes directly to Active Directory. It goes over multiple layers. So you are extracting users, policies, groups, whatever, from Active Directory, but it's not the main system anymore. Then it goes to Entra ID, it goes to, I don't know, Okta, it goes to AWS, it goes to this one. So in this one, you are going to define multiple policies and you are going to handle users differently. So in the root of where you're having to extract from the users or everything that I mentioned before, no one is looking at it. So I think that user management is still something very interesting. User management in terms of access, isolation, scope, authorization, etc. So yeah, I think that I over-explained, but
Yeah, yeah,
this I get carried away. Sorry, there, Dorota.
yeah, it's in the podcast and we have time, so no worries. And that was like a very good eye-opening example. And I want to read a comment from the chat because that's a good one too. So the comment is, I saw once during a pen testing a sysadmin that did a printer configuration using his domain admin account. So the credentials were stored inside the legacy printer. So that's wild.
That's wild. And also, why would you do that? It's like, killing a spider with a big gun. I mean, there is no need to do that. And sometimes because we own the system, that means that we are going to do whatever with that. Another case that I can share with you,
Yeah.
it's like we had a very high executive from another company that he retired, and then he took his company laptop and he deliberately took it to a hacker so he could bypass the credentials for the company so he can give his laptop to his kid. And then we were seeing all of these alerts coming from this laptop because someone was trying to go into the network and trying to bypass the credentials over there, and we were like, why? Like, why? You can ask us and we can deactivate, but then again, how the user management and how all of these processes of when the people leave the organization are working. So everything is an ecosystem, and that's what I think that most of companies are still having some challenges to understand that everything is an ecosystem. Like we are not only talking among technical teams, we are talking with the business, we are talking with HR, we're talking with sales, we're talking with marketing and everyone. And the impact until they see in their own department, probably it's too late then. So yeah, I can go on and on with these stories
Yeah.
for a long time. Yes.
So maybe another one later, but yeah, I also like remembered then when I worked one of my previous like workplaces, I saw that like someone was bringing their laptop to the office, their like private one, and connecting to the network because the all the good pages were blocked, like we couldn't watch YouTube or like Facebook. So yeah, that's interesting. Like so people like don't really consider that this is like a environment that has to be secure, but they just think, oh, the bad employer blocked all the good pages and I cannot, like watch cute cats at work, or something like that.
And it had happened to me before as well because I was the owner of the proxy, so I was blocking all of these categories. And then when I wanted to go into a place, I was like, "Oh shoot, I did block myself." So it has happened to it has backfired to me as well. But yeah, as long as you have the right people in the roles wanting to um, make the company safer, I think that's the primary goal because that's what you were hired for and that's what your ethical sense should actually go, right?
That's actually very true because if you hire well and like that's how they call human resources. So if you pick the right resources for your company, I think you're going to be fine, and there people are going to fight for you, and it's going to be safe and secure. But yeah, that's a very good comment. You're a very wise person. I'm happy I
Oh, too
invited you. Okay. My next question is, how do you balance offensive tactics with ethical responsibility in security testing? So how to be offensive but also like act in an ethical way?
Oh, well, then you just mentioned, I think we've hired the right people because I've had this discussion with my team many times, many times, because we're in the very thin line where what we are doing is ethical and what we are not doing. But at the same time, you have to act like a true attacker. So the attackers are not going to be ethical at any moment. So, and we're not talking about hackers. I'm talking about people that wants like malicious actors, like they want to do harm. Um, then if we don't emulate them, then we're missing a big part of the picture if we are only doing what's allowed. That's a little bit on what the red team does. That actually I have divided the team into ethical hacking and adversary emulation. And what we try to do is we are going to have our white cell at all time informed um, on what we're doing, because there are things that we don't want to put the company to lose millions of dollars just because, oh, we thought of an engagement. We try to keep disruptive processes very separate. I mean, mm, I don't think that we want to be disruptive at any point or any type of engagement that we do. And that's one of the things that have been a very one of the things that have defined how my team operates, that we've never caused a disruption, but however we have always been able to produce results. However, on the ethical part, you know that everyone that is in cybersecurity, especially if you're in intelligence, you have to be lurking in some places that you see what you see, and the temptation is always there. The you know multiple messages that you receive a day, like, hey, will you do this and I will pay you this. But that's also how you are like a person. And again, coming to the right team to work with. If you ask me, have you ever had a rough employee working with you? Yes, we have had. So I know how that's like, but we have zero tolerance of on doing things that are beyond the company's benefits. So I think that it's very important to focus on the right people when you hire, because sometimes I'm more like, let's do this and that, and then the team comes and say, yeah, but we can face this problem and we can face this situation and we can face. Then it's not only you taking decisions, it's also a very interesting discussion with your team. And probably we don't see eye to eye in some decisions or whatnot, but at the end of the day we try to um, the things that make everyone comfortable. No, so that's most likely.
Yeah, that's yeah, having a good team is actually the most important thing. Actually, yeah. Okay, yeah. I digress. Yeah, I started thinking about that, and yeah, that's not that a moment to think about that. We have a podcast. We are going live here. It's okay. What's your approach to staying ahead of adversaries in ever-changing security environment? That's pretty much a question. How do you learn and how do you stay, like on time, like what is happening?
Yes. Well, if you remember, I mentioned before that I do have ADHD.
Yeah.
So my doctor told me you can live with ADHD without suffering it. But from some years ago, I started to actually suffering it. Like I started to have like completely white, um, blank spaces in my memory, like what I was saying,
Yeah.
what was about to say. Had never happened to me before. Um, Now it's something that it's already fixed and whatnot. But then I was facing, like, I sit in front of my computer and I was like, I don't remember how to do this. I don't remember how to do that. It's not like I'm losing my memory. It's because, being in a leadership position sometimes takes you a little bit back or a little bit away from the um, like working in the terminal, so most of the times. So I always fix that, having my own gigs aside, so I was able to do things in the real world without doing it on my job. So I always keep up with the technology and whatnot. But sometimes I think that the platforms that we have access now are amazing, like Try Hack Me, Hack the Box, all of that that allows you to screw many, many times, but at least are very realistic. I think those are things that have helped us having access to OffSec as well, and having access to all of this. Sandboxes. We have also built our sandboxes in external environments as well, so we can play around on things. And since I also have my intelligence team, so I'm also very updated on what's going on in the world. So, and also I'm very active in my social media, so I know exactly what's going on. And I go and I have a Medium account as well, and I read what other people do. So I think that because I have to have a lot of dopamine in my system, I go to multiple sources um, to check what's going on. If I find something really nice, then I replicate it in my labs, and then I say to the team, hey, this could be very interesting to do. Let's We have this and this, so maybe we can go ahead. Sometimes the team is like, please stop with your ideas because we are with a lot of things in the making. So it's fun, but that's pretty much how I learn nowadays, by doing, reading and doing.
Yeah, that's actually the best way because that's like if you're learn. I read like I'm actually doing Hack the Box Academy, and I was doing a chapter about learning, about like ways of learning, and they was explained that only reading is that you remember 10% of the material that you just read, but if you like by doing and like working with that you just read, you gain like I think it was 17%. So that's I think you're doing the best thing that you could do to learn fast and like remember those things. So yeah, yeah. Just wanted to say that a good job. And okay, my next question is, what's your leadership philosophy in cybersecurity? Do you have something like that?
Yes, collaboration. I really love collaboration. I think that having openness and collaboration is very important, because I think that one of the biggest gifts that I give to myself is perspective. So I try to see things from multiple angles, because if I only see it my way, then I definitely going to fail, because I'm just doing things from one perspective over and over. So that means that, I mean, I don't have all the knowledge myself. I have to go to my team. So collaborating with my team, having one-on-ones with them on the weekly basis, having one-on-ones with other leadership teams as well. I think it's very important. So isolation is something that when you do it because of a strategy, not because of a philosophy. Um, but then you have to also put the team first. So it's something that I think it's very important to understand that we have to celebrate the wins, and we have to keep private or situations and whatever. So I think that even when we are collaborative and very open to help other people or other teams, we're here for it. We're here for helping getting some companies security better. That's our main goal. We are not here for ego, even though the ego is always there, like, hey, I found this. So, but we're trying to do this for, making a safer posture in the company. We also have to, discuss things in private that, hey, we're facing this ABC. And I think that's my philosophy. We win in team is first, but we also are very open and collaborative with other pillars of cybersecurity.
Okay, thank you. That's actually a very good, and I really like your answer.
Thank
Yeah, have to mute myself for a moment. Okay, my next question is, yeah, actually, I'm getting back to
you.
the women in offensive security in cyber. So, how can organizations create more opportunities for women in offensive security, in your opinion? Uh, I understand this, like, as yeah, some people, women don't really like believe in themselves enough, or they think that they're not smart enough, or maybe that's not for them because that's, like, you have to be very technical. But actually there are like a lot of jobs that don't really need you to hack into a system. So how would you encourage women to enter cyber?
Yeah, well, first of all, yeah, we do have a group of cyber women in cybersecurity within our organization, and one of the things that we always discuss is like women are more like, if I am 100% think that I can apply to this position, then I will do it. If I only can fulfill like A, B, and C, then no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And hopefully there are a lot of girls looking at us right now, and one thing that I always say is, like, at the end of the day, you are going to have expertise on how to answer some questions from the interviewers. So how are you going to know what are you going to respond if you don't put yourself um, in the position of being, questions asked on what's the role. Probably you are a developer and you want to go into cybersecurity, and they start asking you, so how do you create a network rule? And you have no idea on how to do it. Then you already know that that's a question for the next interview, probably not with that company, but then you know already what type of questions you are going to be asked. But if you don't put yourself out there, that means um, that you're not preparing for what the role that you really want. Then, of course, you have to deal with rejection, because you cannot be like in a position, a director position or a leadership position, without being rejected many, many times. That's normal. So when you check on your vulnerability, and vulnerability is, by the way, not only showing your emotions or your feelings, vulnerability is actually being able to put yourself in a position that you normally wouldn't. So that's how you learn. And another thing can happen. Probably you thought that you were not a good fit for that position, and then they tell you you're exactly what we are looking for. And you're going to miss that opportunity just because you didn't apply for A, B, or C. Um, Now, if you ask me, but Hema, I don't want to make the team to waste their time on interviewing someone that is not ready for the role, then we have multiple resources nowadays. We have AI that can tell you, hey, design for me the top best questions for this role, so you can study them. And if you're not going to present for that interview because you think that I really don't think that I am going to be there, then you can start studying the topics that you think you're missing. So it's something that in cybersecurity, I'm so happy that a lot of people are coming with mental health type of answers. That this imposter syndrome, it not only happens to girls, it happens to guys in multiple levels, in all levels. It happens to um, high performance athletes, it happens to everyone. But at the end of the day, what you do is what you can do best. And if someone appreciates, then you're in the right place. If someone thinks you're lacking A, B, or C, then probably either you step up or you move to another place where you feel more comfortable. But options, I want you to understand that there are options. There are everything is fixable. Everything is
Yeah.
solution. Yes.
That's very smart. Thank you for sharing. And like my next question was, what
Mm.
advice would you give to women wanting to break into cyber? But I think you already shared some. I would like add to what you just said that don't self-reject yourself. Don't just apply for the job, although you only have like 30% of the skills that are listed in the job and farm advertisement. But maybe that's enough of skills for them, and they can teach you the rest. Or maybe they are just looking for a unicorn, and someone designed a advertisement that has no, like a place in reality. So. Uh,
Yeah,
you just have to send that CV and like give your best shot. And then a very smart thing that you just said, I'm actually was doing that. I was going on job interview, sending my CV everywhere and going on job interviews. And because I have like a very good profile, I was invited to a lot of them. So then I was just taking notes of the questions that I asked. And because I get very stressed when I'm like on a technical interview, I just have blank brain and like I cannot answer anything. So then I make notes of the questions that I ask and I couldn't answer on the spot there, and just like prepare best I can, and then I repeat those. Maybe I have like a friend that he can answer me the same question and I can answer. So put myself in those same shoes in a way, and then then you go on those interviews and then take notes and research the topics that they ask you, and then you get asked those questions again, and then, oh, I know this, I know how to answer, yes. And then it works,
yes,
and then all the practice that I did, you can go on like the interview of your dreams to a company you always wanted for and nail it because you just had like a lot of practice. You put yourself out there. You just didn't self-reject. So I think that's like the best way to like land the job is to be very proactive, prepare well, and like like don't doubt yourself. Don't like kick yourself, like tell yourself that, oh, I'm stupid, I will never get this job. So don't do that.
no,
Believe in yourself and then go ahead and y- if not going to maybe get the first one, just don't take it personally. It's like sometimes rejection is a redirection, and
exactly.
it's redirecting you to the place where you actually belong and maybe not in this company. So I do believe that everything happens for a reason. I'm talking a lot, but
Exactly. No,
so
you actually nailed it. And you mentioned if you ask me again what I recommend, and probably not just girls, but also anyone who wants to come into cybersecurity, I have three tips for them. The first one, and this is very common, and I don't see like many people talking about it. The first one is to keep the the amateur mindset all the time, like or beginners mindset all the time. For example, you have done how many courses on cybersecurity have you taken that it's beginners? Beginners course to Python, beginners course to workshop for I don't know networking, beginners work for ethical hackers, and you keep having beginners all the time, that you think that you're not moving on because you're learning the same, and that's because you are always learning the same. How about you challenge yourself, and then you expose yourself to something that you've never done before, and then you take an advantage one, and then you say, oh, so this is what I need. And then you yourself classify your own gap. And then no one else is going to tell you, oh, you suck at this because you don't know this, etc. Because you already know what's your gap, and you already know what to do, to catch up. So having beginners courses like here and there, it's not going to help. It's going to help you once. Good. Then move on. The second one is when you're reading, when you are taking a lesson on something, if you don't understand one word, go and understand that word before you keep reading. Because if you don't understand that, then the rest comes out of context or whatever, and then you get frustrated because, oh my God, this is so hard. I have the problem that I have to read many, many times the same paragraph because my mind takes me to places that
Yeah.
I have to do this, I have to do that, and then what was I reading? So it becomes so mechanical that sometimes it's like, no, I'm going to focus on this. I understand this word. I am going to have ChatGPT here with me or whatever. And what's this? In what context is used? Oh, okay, perfect. I come back. And by the way, tell ChatGPT or any AI that you're using, like keep it short and tell me this in 3 or 4 words. Like, or how do you use it? Because if it's going to give you the whole thing, then you don't have to read another book to read the book that you're reading, right? So, yes. And the other one is you mentioned it. Everything happens for a reason. You have to understand that what's yours, it's yours, and no one else. So, if this job is happening for me, it's because it was meant to be for me. Yes, I work hard. Yes, I spend multiple nights, sleepless nights here to be here and whatnot. But at the end of the day, everything was aligned for me to be here. If it's not, then the life and the universe and whatever, it's basically, saving me from something. That's my
Yeah.
mentality. That's what I think. And definitely, it's a lot of mental tricks that you have to do also with yourself in order to be in any job, yes, but especially in cybersecurity with neurodivergency, it's part of everyone here. So,
Yeah.
yes.
What I also like, what I really like that you mentioned the beginner courses, and it doesn't really make sense to redo them over and over, but I sometimes do because I don't understand like what they were like teaching me in the first course, but sometimes in the second and the third course, the way that is worded or like something like I don't know the images or like maybe something is additionally there that oh I finally get it. So sometimes I just watch a few courses till I understand what is happening, and sometimes I get back to the beginner courses too because I feel rusty in some kind of a topic and I just need like a refresh a kind of like a situation. And also, what I wanted to ask is sometimes we, I, okay, I don't know if other people do it, but maybe I will say that from my own perspective, I sometimes put myself in like a very uh, rigorous situation, so I like have like a very high bar for myself, and that's not nice. Sometimes there are like situations when you feel like you're scared or maybe like you're not ready, but if you just jump into it and put yourself out there and like be brave enough to like go after a good life, and try harder, then I feel like other people will catch you like along the way.
Yeah, no, and you frame it perfectly. Like, and this is, I think this actually goes and resonates more with women. We have this perfection aspiration all the time. I
Yeah,
have to be perfect in my outfit, perfect in my skincare, perfect in my routine, perfect in everything. And there is a very, very huge difference between being perfect and being excellent. I always learned that since I was in third grade, I learned that wherever I put my name, it has to be excellent, not perfect. excellent. Like if I am doing things up to the standards and I'm doing things the right way, and I know that I did my best, then that's excellent for me. If I do a mediocre job, then I am against me. But that doesn't mean that I am A, B, or C. Having compassion with yourself, speaking to yourself like you will speak. Like, for example, if I come and tell you, my God, Rod, I feel so defeated. I don't think that I'm good for this role. You're not going to say, oh my God, yes, that's because you're stupid. No, you're
Yeah.
not ever going to say that to me. So why would you do that to yourself? And I had a problem with someone some years ago who was, making my life impossible. And then I went to my therapist and I was like, I am overeating, I am over drinking over this situation. And I was like, why are you doing this to yourself? This person is the one who's treating you bad. Why are you treating you bad?
Yeah.
Like, and you say like, oh my God, it just, cabled something inside my head. But women, yes, we are portrayed always to be perfect and things, but those are very specific roles, or you know society rules that don't have to be your reality. I'm not saying that you don't have to, do your best on things and you are going to be just over, I don't remember the word, how to say this word. You're not going to be like reckless or,
Mhm.
oh, that's because that's me. No, you're going to be yourself and putting yourself, because yes, you're still going to fail.
Yeah.
And then you're going, even when you think that you have done everything with excellence and with following everything, and someone is going to have different perspective and say, hey, you missed this and this. And I was like, okay, perfect. So I can fix it next time, or I can fix it this time, and I'm not going to repeat it. But from there, to have a impossible standard of being perfect, that's too much. Now imagine me being perfect at work, being perfect mother, being perfect daughter, being perfect, everything, very perfect human. There is no such a thing.
Yeah, we are
And if
not
girls,
perfect.
if not exactly. And if girls are seeing this, go and see other podcasts. No one is going to say, oh, I feel I'm perfect doing this. So I think I'm perfect doing this. Everyone is going to tell about their own flaws. So if you know and you're aware that everyone else is having these challenges, why are you going to, feel miserable for things? It's not fair. We need more compassion. We need more love to ourselves. And loving ourselves is not, I'm going to go to the spa. Yeah, that's large. But love is actually understanding yourself. Love is having patience. So yes, those are the type of things. And I'm so happy that you are providing this space for other people to understand that in all levels there are, you know, a struggle, mental health challenges. We are parts of a different side of the society. I don't know. We are nerds. We are techies. We are weirdos. We are whatever, and that's okay. That's our community. That's what we are. Who we are.
Yeah, but also like what I see, like a lot of neurodivergent people in that space. So that's also like another layer of. I think that's really fun and exciting because yeah, I like to surround myself with intelligent people because I feel like I'm growing in that environment, and it's kind of like in cyber we do live in kind of like a bubble because like everyone is intelligent. So that's yeah another layer. It was a very good answer. How do AI and automation impact offensive security in your opinion?
Well, if something is making our life easier, I am a huge advocate of AI. Like I sometimes get surprised myself of seeing how people are trying to make another other people be afraid of, oh, AI is going to replace ethical hackers because we are going to be able to evaluate our network by chatting with AI. Or, you know, if developers are just pasting and coding, sorry, copying and pasting, that means that AI is already doing their jobs. So all of those things that I see out there, it's like, man, imagine yourself being 20 years ago when the internet started and being a detractor of the internet. You will not look good right now. So imagine being a detractor of AI right now and having all of this sensationalism around it and, you know, making news around it. Of course, internet is helpful and valuable, but it has the risk. It's the same. AI is helpful and it's going to put the human being in another era. And that's super exciting. So if something it's just making our life easier, it's going to make our life more automated. So another thing is that if we are in offensive security and we are script kiddies, then we're just saying, hey, build a malware for me, and then I'm just going to put it in production. That's reckless, no? So still you have the human factor needed there. You have internet, you have a lot of bots, and bots are not something new. It's been many years that bots are you know on the phone everywhere.
Mhm.
So I think that the way that we can use it is to automate things that could take us or more tedious tasks that will you know take more time for more day to do something like yeah it might sound something like, for example, I have to be in my computer most of the day because I'm talking with my team and participating in meetings and whatever. And sometimes I don't know what to eat and I don't want to think like, oh my God, I'm going to order something. I just ask like, I have this in the fridge. What can I make it fast? And it gives me just one answer. I'm like, okay, that's what I'm gonna eat. So I know it sounds very silly, but those type of things for my life, it makes my life easier. Now for my team, I know that, for example, if we have to put together um, some uh, some things that we want to discuss or a presentation, it's a better way to organize ideas. You sometimes it's going to sound silly. Sometimes you don't have a time to organize your ideas. So then you put like, I want to talk about this. So okay, it gives you the ideas. It's like having extra help, and that's how we take advantage. Now, yes, coding. Everyone in that comes into cybersecurity from other roles, coding is something that it's the biggest challenge because normally it's where we are not doing that 24/7 every day. Of course, we are going to feel have challenges there, but then if you want to do something in C or in C sharp, and I don't know, in Bash and Go and whatever, and you don't have the syntax for something, instead of going through multiple pages in the internet, just chat. And then, okay, this didn't fix. This is the error. Okay, and then it's more efficient. To me, to me, that's how it's going to help other teams to also elevate their operations and reduce tedious tasks. Now, if you ask me, like if we are going to build a whole report on AI, then that's going to be something that at least we are not considering, because I know that putting a report together is not anyone's favorite, but I do like to understand what I'm putting there because I know how I'm going to defend what I'm writing. So I think that's how I will use it.
Yeah, that's actually, but yeah, I saw like a video yesterday that uh, there was a guy saying that where is AI that is doing my taxes? Where is like AI that is doing my investment portfolio or like something like stakeholders portfolio? and we only have AI for like music, pictures, and like poetry, like stuff that we actually want to do ourselves. That's something that brings us joy, like as humans. So why are we delegating the nice things to AI and not the ones that like keep us stuck at work for like hours, and not making our life any better. So that's but if you use it well, then yeah, it's to your advantage. And I really liked your like idea that you put what you have in the fridge and it gives you like a meal, because then you save your like mental powers, and you can focus on like other things, right? Not like thinking like, oh, what can I cook?
Yes. Yeah, no, actually it brings away extra space in my head because one of the things that, having an anxious personality is like I don't know what I'm going to eat, and that is going to take my focus for the rest of the meeting that I am in. And that's not fair to the people that I am, you know, trying to I try to be present. So instead of wondering, oh my God, what am I going to eat? And also that's one thing that it's out of respect for others as well. I think that everyone's time is valuable.
Yeah.
That's something that I really, really appreciate when someone is very conscious about this. But also, um, the the AI is going to, for example, if you are if you're coming to cybersecurity and you have never done cybersecurity before, or even if you are in any level, you can just say to AI, "Hey, give me a 1 day challenge on a top vulnerability that is going on in the world." And then you keep with your day, and at the end of the day, you already have a step-by-step guide on what you can focus on after work on how to learn on the latest vulnerability around it. Simple. It's now you keep up with what you are going to do. That's another part. But that's the beauty of having you know technology more into our lives. But AI, it's another huge topic that we can talk for hours and debate on here and there. But Hema, it's taking decisions on the health level or it's doing this and that. Yes, of course. But at the end of the day, there are experts putting together these technologies that's supposed to be on top of all of these risks. We have had to evaluate, my team has had to evaluate um, AI tools within the organization, and we have provided um, our thoughts and our recommendations around certain tools for this. So if you're going to put it um, in a bigger audience, in a bigger extension, in a bigger operation, then you have to be very careful. If it's for personal use, you can play around with it however you want. No.
Okay, so I'm slowly running out of questions. I only have four left. So to like wrap it up a bit, the question is, what's your biggest mistake and your biggest win? So I used to ask that question, and in a way that you don't really have to answer the mistake part if you don't want to, but you can answer in a way like what was the mistake, but what you've learned out of it, and then the biggest win, like you're winning. So, okay.
I think my biggest mistake was that when I was working in non-technical roles in my 20s, I didn't keep learning. I didn't prepare myself that much back in those days. So I had to catch up later. I really would love to have started earlier, more in depth on things. Because once I was working in a job that did not require anything related to security, I didn't touch a book of that in that time. I wish I was more focused on my education back in the days because I'm not saying that I didn't do later, but it was more challenging. So yes, that's my biggest mistake. And my biggest win is what I'm living right now. If you ask me, is to be able to put my daughter to bed, and because I know that I have my life together, I have my dream job, I live in my in a very good place, so I have the peace around my life where I can, have a life that I can design. I think that's my biggest win. And I told you, I'm the happiest woman on earth. And I think that um, through thin and thick, I've been happy. Not everywhere. Like sometimes you are struggling and happy at the same time. But at the end of the day, where I am right now, the peace of mind that I have right now, that's my biggest win.
Yeah, I'm so happy for you, and like because I'm also like a similar situation that I'm like super surprised that it's so happy in this neighborhood. I especially moved like away from Warsaw because the air wasn't that great in the capital and was noise all the time and a lot of cars, a lot of people. And now I live next to a forest and like it's so quiet and the air is great and the food is great. Yeah, I
Yes.
actually moved for the food mostly, but also the forest. So yeah, I'm also like in a similar place that I'm trying to get used to. Yeah, like being happy, like yeah. So yeah, yeah. But I just moved like last month, so it's like I'm still like figuring that out, I guess. But I have
Me
time.
too. Me too, Dorota. We are definitely living or going through the same right now.
Yeah, high five.
I'm living high five. I'm living in the country here as well, so I'm outside the city. So I love to see green everywhere. It's amazing.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so I have a question in the chat. Are you using Hugo to create it to create uh, the reports? Okay, wait. Uh, there's two comments. Love your website, Gema. Do you pronounce it well? Good
Yes.
technical articles. If you wanna check this out, and he shared the page. Are you using Hugo to create it and articles, or maybe another CMS? That's the question
For article,
for
no,
your page.
actually, yes, I do. Since I do, when I study, I do my notes in
Okay.
when I'm studying, and when I do pen test, I also do my notes there. I have a huge repo of notes that I've been taking for a long time, and also I'm working on something and I face a problem. For example, when I put how to use, I don't know, um, how to install Bloodhound. It's what because like I had zero idea on what to do in one step. So I was like, no, I'm going to make someone else life easier. So I'm going to put the step by step on this, so they don't have to go through what I did. So most of the things that I put there, it's like an organized set of notes that I'm doing. I the background of the backend, sorry, for the blog is I do everything in Blogger, so, but most of the things that I put there are from my notes. And also it's helpful for me because if I forget to hand on how to do something, I just go and take that as a reference. I was, in conflict with myself because I deleted my YouTube channel because I had very few um, videos. But then I was like, oh my God, I need to extend the hard drive in Kali, and I don't remember how to do it. And that video was very easy, so I had to investigate again on how to do it. But those silly things and minor things, but that's what I have my blog for as a reference on things.
Yeah.
But it's not easy to keep up with everything right now. Probably I will go back to more doing more articles, and then people will say like, "Hey, but you have AI, you can do it." Things, yes, but it's reference for me and it's fun. So
Yeah, you learn by that. So I also like created a GitHub repo and I wanted to like create a kind of like a blog, like as a like a note-taking space, like for myself as well. That, but like teaching others and like free resources that they can maybe go there and read. So kind of like giving back to the community, but in a way that I'm also like learning and like trying to share there. So yeah, that's really nice that you have like a blog like that. So I only have one post, so I'm not saying that like I'm like doing great there, but I'm trying to like build a habit of like putting something regularly there. But yeah, with like having a podcast, that's like already a lot on my plate right now. So I
Yes.
just want to take it a bit slowly. But yeah, definitely I would envision that place as a, yeah, like a lot of notes that are useful maybe to pass OECP or like other exams offensive, or maybe just to read about tools or I don't know, web vulnerabilities. So that's like my imagination, but actually there's only one post there. So yeah, right. Fingers crossed, like hopefully in the future. Okay, so that's the question from the chat before, but I left it at the end because I also see your t-shirt and I really want to go to DEF CON myself. So the question was, did you enjoy DEF CON?
Oh yes, I love it. And actually, last year was my first year in DEF CON. And one of the things that, beyond the amazing talks that we got from everyone, it's the diversity that you saw there in ages, in cultures, in everything. So there were a lot of people that were saying, "Hey, I'm in my 30s, I'm in my 40s. Can I start in cybersecurity?" Not only you can, you are going to be supported. So
Yeah,
this community is so supportive, and everyone is so well connected. Like, again, probably because we went through a lot of things that we don't want future generations to go through, not because they're not going to be strong about this. We just don't want to be traumatized. So it's in this one, actually, it's a gift from my friends from Electronic Arts. They do open hardware in Aguascalientes, in the city I was living in, Mexico. Brilliant guys. They do conferences around the world about also implementing new methods on uh, for people to, you know, go ahead and start building open source and hardware and everything. They are focused on electronics, and they have multiple appliances that they design and build themselves. And so this is their logo
that's really
uh,
cool.
over here. So I love them. And yeah, so if you are going to DEF CON this year, I hope to see you. I'm hoping to be there also. I want to do besides Black Hat and DEF CON. And it's very interesting because in those dates, in DEF CON dates, it's my birthday. So I celebrated my birthday surrounded with such cool people. So I hope to do the same for this year.
That's the best birthday to celebrate, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So last two questions. Your favorite hacker movie and your favorite food.
My favorite food has to be seafood, definitely seafood. And my favorite hacker movie, I don't know. I don't know. I love the Hackers movie. I love Mr. Robot. I know that there are a lot of people that have their preferences. I loved Mr. Robot. Probably a couple of seasons were, a flop, but I love it because it was like, I don't know, it was fun. There is one in I think it's Netflix that but that everyone is talking about. I haven't been able to see. I want to see it, but probably Hackers. And I want to be honest, Hackers, I saw it like when I was older, not when I was young. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my god! I mean, so it was super fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, so yeah, I also love Mr. Robot, but because it was like a great show, but also it was a show that like slapped me in the face, that reminded me that actually I wanted to do this job, you know? So why am I procrastinating my life away. Why am I not going there? So that was kind of like a reminder to follow and start learning that, doing CompTIA courses, and yeah, slowly moving in that direction. I joined some meetups when I was in the Netherlands because of that TV show. So yeah, it was a good show because got me to where I am now. So yeah, that's like a have like a very special place in my heart. So that's going to be a
Yes.
wrap for me. And I wanted to ask you if you want to say something at the end. And also I wanted to thank you for coming. I'm really happy that you agreed to come, and I learned a lot from you. You're a very smart person, and
Oh,
you're
thank you.
very, experienced as well. So you gave like very good answers, and also made me think about like what I'm going through in my life, and like maybe what I want to do next, and reminded me to go to a pool. So thank you for that gift. And so yeah, now I'm giving you all the space if you want to say something at the end.
Well, first of all, again, thank you and your community for all also doing this. Thank you for being also very brave and putting yourself in this situation because you are, I mean, you're an inspiration already. I've already told you, and I follow your journey in the social media. So I appreciate you and I admire you a lot. So thank you for that. Thank you for bringing this space. I've also tried to connect when you post that you are interviewing or having someone here. So it's very like being here. It feels an honor. And if I have to say something by the end, it's like to everyone, don't. We have said everything about believe in yourself, believe in a space for yourself that you can be happy and you can live fulfilled, but also don't don't lose this capacity of that being always um, ha- you have to be astonished by things like, oh my god, this is so cool, oh my god, this like that happiness,
Childlike,
that
childlike curiosity.
childlike,
Yeah.
yes, that is something that if it's going to keep your heart young, it's going to keep your mind sharp, it's going to like if you think that you are losing yourself and losing interest in something, then have a date with yourself and but and when I say I have a date with yourself, it's not like invite yourself to the movies and buy your flowers. It's like sit with yourself and start writing like what's in my plate right now that I think that it's too much for me. And trust me, it's going to be, I mean, not typing, writing. It's going to be very, and then you read back and then it's going to be like, oh my God, all of this was in my mind. No wonder. So yes, skill sets if you want to have and talk about nerdy things and talking about a tool, a technique, whatever. That's simple. But putting yourself in a position of being vulnerable and talking about your wins, mistakes, and fears and whatnot, that's different. So thank you, and I hope that we see more people coming into the community from everywhere, like minorities, women, LGBTQ plus community, other cultures, whatever, into the space. It's always welcome and super fun and happy to learn from them.
Yeah, I'm also like thank you for like saying that. That was like super nice, and I also would like to see more people like more diversity in cyber, because we need you here. So that's what I wanted to say at the end. That yeah, don't be scared. Just like follow your dream, and like give yourself a good life, because your future self will be grateful that you uh, took the leap. So. Thank you again. I really enjoyed that one, and you have like a very nice personality that I was
Oh,
sometimes
thank you.
like a bit anxious in my podcast, but you really calmed me down, and so I was like really
Oh,
relaxed with my back. Yeah, that was like really nice. So I think if I would meet you in person, maybe on DEF CON, we are friends. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, thank you again, and I'm going to wave now. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.